Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to Escape from Crazytown. Welcome to our Happy Crappy Hour live stream. It is, one of those mornings where I need a really big cup of tea or a really big cup of coffee. It is, yeah, a really, I don't know, I think it's a really hard time right now for a lot of people. And let me see which lighting works better for you guys here. So I'm just trying a few things out. Yeah, it's one of those things, you guys, that right now I know it's a really hard time. There's some people who are going about like, oh, everything's fine, everything's great, but in actuality, their whole life is falling apart, and they just want to appear like everything's going great because they they like the attention and the facade of success or facade of doing well, so others might be jealous of them, I guess. I don't know what the whole I mean, I do know what the whole deal is, but I don't know why people feel the need to do that. Like, it just is worse for them. It really is. But here, you guys, I'm dealing with something with a friend of mine who is going through a big battle right now for her freedoms, and she's being oppressed, not just her, but a few others along with her. And I just feel like, you want to encourage people. You want to stand by them and encourage them and help them with wisdom to do the right thing. So that's what's going on with me this morning. Woke up to that about 6 this morning and been battling it for several hours. And um, anyway, you know, the bottom line is, if we stick together and we work together as a team, we're going to accomplish a lot. And even if people knock us down or try to knock us down, we're so much stronger together that we don't stay down. So, this is why I am so happy to be doing Happy Crappy Hour, because this is our time together. This is our group. This is our team. And when things come against you, when you feel like, you're the odd man out or the target of some of these narcissists who are psychotic, by the way, and delusional. And we're going to talk about that today. Will the narcissist ever change? Because, we hope that they would. We wish they would. And, we pray they would. And we just, we hold on to that hope. But what happens if they don't change? What should we do instead, right? What should we do in the meantime? Even if we think they might change, and some people have argued that narcissists can change or maybe will change, but here's my stance. What are you responsible for, right? What are you able to affect? What can you do, whether or not they change? And that, my dear, is the answer to your successful future. If you are waiting for the narcissist to change before your future takes off, or before you have any good in your life, you're going to be waiting for a long, long time, and possibly it will never come. So we don't want to be waiting on that. But we are going to talk about whether the narcissist is going to change, could change, has any capacity to change, why or why not. So, good morning, you guys. Glad to see you hopping on here. Jihad, good morning. Obi-Wan, good to see you. And John, good morning. So glad you guys are here. I'm going to grab my cup of coffee and my water. Man, I just felt like I could not have enough drinks on my table today because, one of those things, you guys, one of those days. But it's going to be a good day. I'm going to try to let some light in because I do prefer the light. But okay, there you go. That's good for the camera too. Oh, yeah. Uh, yeah. Narcissists do. They come in and they use you and all, but be careful that you don't become a user as well. And here's the deal. Obi, you and I, we go back and forth on these things. And I feel you. I really do. And I think there need to be consequences when people behave badly towards you, are demeaning towards you, and are abusive towards you. You definitely stand up for yourself and have some consequences. We don't need to take that. But we also don't want to dish it, right? We don't want to be the ones doing that to other people. So always be in check of that. You guys, today I wanted to talk about the narcissist, because, changing or not changing, because a lot of times we sit back and we think, I'll let this narcissist stay in my life because I think they're going to change. I think they're going to get it. And that's what one of my friends is dealing with right now, feeling that if she just says the right thing, um, maybe if she presents her argument in such a way, or let them see her vulnerabilities, or let them see how much they're affecting her and hurting her, she's thinking she'll be able to appeal to their humanity, and that they will wake up and stop doing what they're doing. Stop being oppressive. Stop being controlling. Stop being a jerk, right? Stop lying. And here's the deal, you guys. Narcissists will continue to lie. And not only that, they will turn and twist their lies to fit their needs. So, whatever evidence you come forward with, whatever argument you come forward with, whatever appeal to humanity or emotions, or what they did to you, how they hurt you, how they harmed you, and you think that this may change their perspective. The only thing it changes, you guys, is their strategy. The only thing it changes is their argument to how now they're going to respond to you. And that's exactly what happened in her case. So she appealed to this person who's making decisions for her life, right? That are affecting her life, and trying to get him to see how irrational his choices, or his responses, and his decisions are in her life, that are affecting her life. And he, did the fake apology. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And, I would love to help you if I could, even though he's the one making the decision, right? But he's acting like, oh, other people are making this decision for me and it's out of my hands, even though he's in charge. Like, he has the last say. He gets to decide. And all they can do, the other people, is present to him whatever they want to present to him. And he can decide whether what they're presenting is real or fake. And we all know that. That's the thing. We all know that. And he's acting as if, well, what they're presenting, even though it's not accurate, and he admitted that it wasn't accurate, he has to do what they suggest based on inaccurate information. So she and several other people have spoken up for her, and a few other people that this is affecting. And now they've come back to say, okay, we thought the information was inaccurate, but now we realize it is accurate. Okay, are you guys catching this? They already made their decision when they believed the information was inaccurate. You got that? They believed, and in their reality, if you want to use those stupid terms, the information was inaccurate, and they made their decision based on that. And now they're saying, well, our decision stands because now the information we are finding turns out to be accurate. So the inaccuracy was debunked. Oh, I hate that term. They love that term, by the way. Narcissists that use that term, yeah. That right there for me is, yeah. They think it's a real term, okay? So what they do is they change the information to fit their narrative. And now they can say they debunked whatever you present to them. And they'll even debunk their own information that they base their decisions on, and say, well, I was planning on doing this anyway, but now I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, that is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who don't care. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about how it affects you. So when you try to appeal to them with how it's hurting you, or how it will affect your future, or how hard you work to get to this point, and they're throwing a wrench into it, they don't care. They don't care. What they do care about, though, you guys, here's the deal. Well, I think a lot of people think that if you keep appealing to them, at some point they're going to care. And I want to tell you, Narcissists do not care. They do not care about you. They do not care about other people. They do not care about how it affects the majority of people, even though they'll keep saying, but they'll use that as an excuse. It's because I care so much about how it affects other people. That's why I have to treat you this way. This is why I have to restrict you, because I care about all these other people that I don't know at all. And even based on inaccurate information, I will hurt you to protect them based on what I know to be completely false information. And then they'll say, oh, well, somebody, now somebody who's on their team, right? One of the flying monkeys or one of their fan club members will come up with some fake story about how, well, what they thought was inaccurate really is accurate. So now they're like, well, you see, I'm making the right decision. It is protecting all these people because look, the information is correct. You guys, they already revealed to you their intentions were not really to protect anybody. Their intentions were to control or push a certain agenda. Their intentions were to work towards something nefarious, something evil, something bad, something wrong. And they will stand by it, but they can't tell you what the real intention is or what the real goal is, because the real goal actually benefits them. The real goal actually gives them, standing, or gives them points for the people they're working for, they're really working for. And they're not going to tell you which people or who they're really supporting or who they're really doing things for, even though they're supposed to be representing you, or even though they're supposed to be working for you, right? And being your advocate. They're going to work against you if it doesn't suit the agenda of whoever wants them to do what they want them to do. Anyway, here's the deal. They will only make choices that will benefit them. If it doesn't benefit them, they don't care. They don't care how much it hurts you, and ultimately they really don't care how much it hurts everybody. What they care about is if it benefits them. And here's the deal. So how do you appeal to someone then, right? Who doesn't care, who's not going to change, who doesn't that no matter how much you present to them, how many facts, how much reality, how much testimony from others, how much evidence you present to them, they don't care, because they already showed you they made a decision based on information they knew was false. They already made that decision to restrict you, to hurt you, to take away from you, to close you up, to stomp on you, to stop you. They already made that decision. Now you're like, well, I'll just present all this other information to further show them how wrong they are. They don't care how wrong they are. What they will do is they will change the narrative. They will change, or they'll get people who will then come and support them and put forward more fake information. To which now they're going to say, well, see, I got to trust this other fake information. But here's the question. Why won't they fake? Why won't they trust or take your information? Why do they pick and choose which information they're going to follow? And so you're trying to appeal to this person. There's no way to appeal to their humanity. There's no way to appeal to their sympathies. Here's the deal. You have to hold them to their word, though. This is how you fight fire with fire. When they tell you, I care so much about all these other people and I want to take care of them, I want to make sure they're safe and blah, 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 whatever it is, I want to make sure they're not harmed, then use that against them and show that what they are doing is actually harming all these people that they're trying to protect. Their argument starts to fall apart. You see what I mean? You have to use these wise tactics that undermine their argument. You don't, even if you present facts, it doesn't matter to them. Another thing that affects them, by the way, is how others perceive them. Their reputation, right? How others think of them and how others may treat them. That's what will get them to change their mind. And they don't really change personality-wise, but that is how you get them to do the right thing. You show them the thing, or you bring to the surface the thing they care most about, and that is themselves. Okay? You show them how this is their decision is going to affect them. You show them how their decision makes them look really bad in the eyes of all these other people. You show them that all these other people don't trust them, don't believe them, don't trust the information that they are getting. So, them, and you have to, and it's bizarre. Here's the crazy thing, too. It may or may not work because these people are so psychotic that they don't care. They will continue to push a lie over and over and over and over again because this is what criminals do. Criminal minds, they gaslight you, right? They know they're wrong. They know their information is wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know what they're doing is hurting you. They know that all that they're presenting to you are complete fabrications and lies, all right? They know all of this. So for you to keep presenting that to them and then letting them know, we're on to you, we see this, we know, to the most, I don't want to say maybe stringent narcissist. Um, I was going to say the strong narcissist, but I don't consider narcissists very strong. I just consider them very bullheaded, I guess, or pushy, or they like to bully people. So in that way, the strongest, right? The most hateful, the most controlling, the most manipulative narcissist. They don't care. They don't care what you say about other people, not liking them, not approving of them, until they see the hordes, until they see the crowds forming outside against them. Then they're going to be like, what? Okay, all these people have caught on. They know that I'm lying. And this is when the narcissist will run and hide. Now, this is different, by the way, than the mob that is deluded, the fan club that's deluded by the narcissist and goes after innocent people and will show up and attack innocent people. Innocent people will not feel guilt because there's nothing to feel guilty for. Innocent people that the mob attacks and forms against and demeans and throws, nasty names at, innocent people don't back down from the truth. They don't. They know the truth is on their side. And they will be the ones presenting evidence to the mob. So you see, it's so crazy. We're in a world right now, you guys, where up is down and down is up, right is wrong and wrong is right. And that's why I have gotten so pissed off, really, at what's going on in the public square, where people are believing the lies of the narcissist. They are now excited and happy and thinking that they're living in narcissist happy town or whatever they want to call it, their delusional town where everything's going to go their way. But here's the funny thing, you guys. Narcissists will attack each other. They don't even like each other. They will band together against a common enemy, you, right? But when you take yourself out of the picture, they will start attacking themselves. They will start attacking each other because now that you're not in the picture, how do they scramble to the top? They're going to have to crush each other to get to the top because you're no longer there to step on. They've got to step on somebody else. So you guys, narcissists don't change, and in a way, that's a good thing. I mean, it's not really, but it's a good thing for us to get out of there because what will happen is they will demolish themselves. They will undermine themselves. They will start attacking the people who are helping them, right? And the people who are helping them and actually using them, and they were using those people, will come out and hold each other accountable, right, for what they expected each other to do. The narcissist is going to expect the mob to continue to support them. The mob is going to expect the narcissist to pander to them and do the things that the mob help them to get there. So, you guys, the biggest lesson you want to take from today is that narcissists do not change. I know that we all hope they will, wish they would, pray they would. We hold out. We want them to, especially if we love them. And And I've done other shows about this. You may have some narcissists in your life that you cannot walk away from because they're part of your family and they're just always going to be there, right? And maybe narcissists that you actually do care about. And I have that in my life, by the way. I have a mother that I really care about. I I feel bad for the pain that she's gone through, but I'm also aware of her narcissism. I'm aware of what her limitations are in relationships. So I know that I cannot have the closest, most intimate, most loving relationship with her. So I have to define the boundaries that I'm willing to work within with her. I don't allow her to define those boundaries because we went back and forth, and it was because narcissists are very emotional and irrational. You're going to be tossed back and forth like crazy, and nothing will ever be consistent. And one day something will be good, but then the next day it's going to be the worst thing ever. So you can never ever please a narcissist. But what you can do is be consistent in your own life. So you can tell the narcissist, no, I won't go this far. Um, but then you can also be nice to them and be willing, set in your mind how far you are willing to go with them. Like, am I willing to listen to a lot of your annoying stories, complaining about everybody in your life? Yeah, to a certain extent, like a few minutes, because I know that that's what they do, right? That's who they are. That's how they have relationship. You let them, what do you call it? You let them just, spill their concerns and worries and whatever onto you. And they're the same concerns and worries, and you can never fix it for them. So you just let them go, just like you would in a normal relationship, right? When someone you care about and you love has something going on in their life, you sit and you let them vent for a while, and that's fine. The difference with a narcissist is they don't know when to stop, and you have to decide, okay, that's enough. Now we're moving on to other topics, and you can do that. You can change the topic. You use certain tactics to control the conversation. You don't have to let them have all control. So that's just in conversation. Now, there are other things that they might do that are abusive towards you, like if they start calling you names, if they start turning their frustration and anger onto you, then you're like, you can give them a warning if that's your choice, right? If you're like, well, okay, I'll give them one warning. That's a boundary I'm willing to, that's part of the rules I'm willing to have in this relationship. So you give them a warning. Hey, what's the deal? Why are you getting mad at me? Why are you calling me names? I didn't do this. So if they don't back off and they're still mad at you, and now they've turned and a lot of times narcissists will do that. They will turn the target to you. So whoever was frustrating them before, now it's not them. Now they're coming up with all the things that you've done that frustrated them. Now they're targeting you. And you're like, what the heck? I just came to, because I care about this person. Now you have a choice. You get to choose to stay or to go. Even if you were dropped off and you have no mode of transportation and you can go take a walk. Like, go outside and take a walk. You can go to the bathroom and close the door. I mean, seriously, you can put your headphones on and turn up the music, like, and let them know, I'm done. This conversation is over. You've crossed the line of being respectful. We're done. And here's the deal. A lot of times with narcissists, they can see that you're strong and that you're consistent and that you have consequences to your boundaries, like if they cross your boundaries. And not that they respect it, but they know that they have no effect. When they know they have no effect, they'll back off. So, you guys, when people think, though, that the narcissist is going to change, that one day they're going to see the wrongs they've done and they're going to feel so bad and they're going to right all the wrongs and they're going to make it up to you. I mean, a lot of people hope for that. They pray for that. They wish for that. I have friends who tell me about their parents, and I know they love their parent. One woman with her father and another woman with her mother. I know there's a guy I know as well who his mother was a disaster, very selfish, very narcissistic, very controlling, also addicted to stuff. So of course couldn't be there really as a good parent. And let me tell you, I'm sorry, but it's not an excuse for bad parenting. It just isn't. You got to decide at some point, are these drugs more important than my kid? And then you make that decision, right? So these parents made those decisions. And what I'm saying is, yeah, one day they could come off the drugs, but until then, and you'll see though, a lot of times they just don't. They don't. Those though who have come off the drugs, some of them continue to be a total jerk. Some of them continue, and they didn't even need the drugs. A lot of them aren't even addicted to any drugs or alcohol. They are just total jerks to their kids. So I have friends who have, both sexes, both sides, and they still care about their parent, but they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to um, interact with their parents. So they generally let the parents control, even at an older age, into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Some of my friends, right, will continue to allow their parents to degrade them, to talk down to them, and whatever. But I think what we are all learning is how to shift the narcissist away from their bad behavior and towards behaving moderately with us, or at least, or even possibly positively with us. And you can do that because narcissists, this is the sad thing, and I don't mean to manipulate people or tell people to manipulate people, but narcissists respond very well to affection, to praise, to people loving on them because they think anybody who loves on them is a good person, right? So it could be a total douchebag that's loving on them, but they think this douchebag's a good person because this douchebag's being nice to them, even though this douchebag's beating his wife or doing committing a lot of other crimes. But so long as that douchebag is nice to them, they like that, and they can be nice towards the douchebag. So here's the deal: when you are interacting with a narcissist, you kind of play that game. You have to just go, okay, so I just put on this persona and be nice to them, and then you get this good interaction with them, and then you're done. Like you at least brought something positive into their life. You brought something good into their life. You brought some light into their life. Whether it'll change them, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it will. So much evidence out there to show that it just doesn't. So many psychiatrists out there that don't believe narcissists can change. There are a few that say that they can, but then as I read these psychologists, what they mean by that is that the narcissist can learn certain behaviors. Like they know, like the psychologist or psychiatrist will, or counselor will work with the narcissist to say, okay, when someone tells you that their parent passed away or their dog passed away, or you should respond with this. And they tell the narcissist how to respond. And in a way, it's kind of bad because they're teaching the narcissist then how to play this game, even though they don't feel empathy, they don't feel sympathy towards the person who lost a loved one. They don't care what happened to you, but they understand that if they want to have a relationship with you because you're beneficial in their life somehow, if they want to make that connection with you, they have to behave in certain ways. So when psychologists are saying, oh, narcissists can change, what they're really saying is that they can learn good responses, good reactions. They don't actually naturally have those responses or feel the sympathy, but they can carry out the action if they learn those actions. And a lot, and so frustrating to me though is that the psychiatrist or a counselor will train the narcissist essentially how to play a better relationship game, maybe for the spouse, right? What I think happens there, though, is then the supply or the spouse or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, the husband, what ends up happening is that the counselor is just prolonging the relationship before it just finally crashes and burns. Because ultimately, the narcissist just doesn't care. They don't. They just need to get results they want. And so the counselor trains them how to get the results they want. Like if they want to get you into bed, how should they talk to you? They're going to say all kinds of things that sound amazing, and they may even do things for you, like the love bombing, right? That is just amazing. But they know that it's not because they care about you, it's because they have a certain agenda. So when counselors talk about narcissists changing, what's happening there is the narcissist is in control. They're learning from the counselor what to do, how to react in order to get what they want, or the results that they want. And it could be also trust, right? They're going after your trust. So the counselor lays out for them how to build trust with you. And it looks like they're changing, but in their hearts, here's the deal. I know this may confuse a lot of people right now because you're thinking, but they're doing the right things, they're saying the right things, and they're following it up with the right actions. But here's the deal. Narcissist will always slip up. You're going to see certain red flags. Listen to those red flags. Pay attention to those red flags, because the narcissist is going to show you, possibly through what they say, they'll sneak in the truth because they just can't help themselves. They think that they are in so much control that they can even tell you what's going on briefly, right, in a moment of weakness, and then go back and deny it. Go back and say, oh, no, I never said that. No, you misunderstood what I said. So be careful of that. Pay attention to those little red flags. Yeah, so I'm going to see how you guys are all doing. I see a bunch of people have been hopping on. Jennifer, good to see you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Obi says, like narcissists, therapists play by the same book as well. I know because I studied to be a therapist. Yeah. Yeah, that really gets me with therapists. It's kind of weird because a lot of therapists that I know, not that they're bad or anything like that, but it seems like they have this air about them as if they know what's going on. They're analyzing you. They think they have the upper hand. And maybe they do in some cases, right? And maybe they do in a lot of cases. That's my little puppy sneezing over there. But really, they, it's a detriment to them because it's an arrogance where then now you are in control because you are watching them and you see that they're being a bit arrogant. They think they know you. They think they're reading you right. And you now are in control because you can see through that. Yeah. I'm just going back here. Eric, good to see you from Scotland. Good to see you. That's cool. My ancestry is actually Scott. Not all of my, part. My dad side of the family is from Scotland. Sorry, guys. I'm just going back to see. Yeah, Jihad says, stay away from them narcs. Absolutely. Jennifer says, the ex-narc new thing is now using God in his messages. Oh, yes. That is one. I still get random emails from his fake accounts. It's just now they say, have a blessed day. God bless you. God bless the family. Never stops. Yeah. And here's the deal. If the narcissist you've seen, like, they don't really lead a godly life, they don't really follow the religion they claim to follow. And by the way, the religion should be good, right? It actually, a lot of the religions talk about doing the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And you're seeing them not really living up to that at all. You see them lying, cheating, stealing, behaving really badly towards other people, having outbursts of anger, whatever, I understand a mistake here and there. I get that. But you see that that's more their usual character than not. And then they're like, well, God bless you. He's like, okay, that's weird. And not only that, I've also been seeing in the public square, by the way, in our politicians who never used to say God bless you, who never used to talk about God. Suddenly now, that's all they talk about. Because you know why. Okay, you guys, we all know why. We all know that they're trying to tap into the religious voters sect or whatever, and they think this will confuse them and convince them that, oh, look, I'm just as godly as you are, and I care just as much about religion as you do. And they don't. So, got to be careful about that. There definitely are wolves in sheep's clothing when it comes to that. Interesting. I don't know that the Bible talks about bragging about a Bible, but yeah, bragging about being religious, yes. The Bible does talk about, you shouldn't be bragging about how religious you are. Uh, that's, yeah. Yeah. Jihad says, I will never wait for the narcs to come and apologize. No, you know what? That's another thing. They don't. They won't apologize. Or if they do, it's only to get something from you. So if it's beneficial to them and they know that if they just apologize, then you'll do what they want or give them what they want, then they'll do that. Um, but you can also tell that whether they're sincere or not because like I said, they'll give you little red flags. And sometimes not so little red flags. They'll blatantly show you that they never intended to change. They apologize, but they don't intend to change. So I'm like, what the heck kind of apology is that? You're apologizing for being such a jerk or a cheat, and then you're still doing it. So yeah, it's not very. They're not that smart, actually, right? They're very good at manipulating because they use emotion and they appeal to our sympathies, our heart, and we bleed for that, right? We're like, oh, we don't want to hurt somebody, and they make us feel guilty. So if we're feeling guilty, they're going to be able to manipulate us. Do they ever feel guilty? No, they don't. That's why it doesn't work the other way around. You can't appeal to their humanity. You can't appeal to their sympathy. You can't be rational or logical with them. That if you do A and B, you're going to get C. They're not going to care because they're going to do A and B because they feel like it. And they're going to do A and B until they get whatever they want anyway. And they don't care. They just don't care what the results are on you, what the effects are going to be on you. So, trying to appeal to them using humanity, using logic, won't work with them. But they expect that using sympathy, using guilt, using all this will work on you. And generally it does. And that's why we end up being manipulated by them. So, one of the things I have also told my viewers a few times before, which is you have to be able to say no and not feel guilty. It's okay to say no. But the narcissist will try to manipulate and make you feel guilty for resisting them, for not doing the things they want you to do. And I'm here to let you know it's okay to say no. It's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to have a preference, right? They think that they're the only ones who can have preferences, but you can't, right? They prefer this, they want that. So they think you should bend in order for them to get it. But when you want something or you prefer something, it doesn't matter to them. They're like, well, then change that, right? They won't change, but they expect you to change. So here we are again. Does the narcissist change ever? Now, there is one area that I have seen the narcissist kind of change, and that is physically. Physically, if the narcissist can no longer be violent because they're getting weaker, they're getting older, and they're maybe even losing some of their mental capacity, they change because of that. But it's not their character that changes. It's not whether they care about you that changes. They just limit how abusive they are physically towards you because they can't do that anymore. It's not because now suddenly they care more about you or that suddenly they grew a conscience. They didn't. They just simply can't keep up anymore with the way they used to be, as abusive as they used to be. So, in that, you might take that as a fake indication that they're changing. And I've seen some people go back to the narcissist thinking that the narcissist has changed because of that. But then what they end up dealing with is more emotional abuse, more verbal abuse, and still the same amount of control. It just doesn't become physical as much. Although the narcissist, if they feel they could get away with it and not be struck back, because that's the other thing, they know they're getting weaker. They know there are other people around them now who could strike back. And so they're not entirely stupid to that, although some are. But they will then change the way they behave physically. It doesn't mean that they really have changed in their motives or how much they care about you. They just change because they know they can't get away with it anymore. Same thing with mental incapacibility. What do you call that? When they're incapacitated mentally, right? They know they're kind of slipping. They know they're forgetting things a lot more. They know they're not as sharp verbally anymore, so they don't get into as many arguments. They don't go crazy berserk anymore, right? They don't go into these screaming, yelling tirades anymore. For one, because physically it takes a lot to go into a screaming tirade. Second, because they know that they don't even make sense to themselves anymore. They get tired. Yeah, they can't even finish a thought. So they're not just as argumentative as they usually would be. Now, again, we might look at that and go, well, they're changing because they don't seem to argue as much anymore. It's really because they can't follow a train of thought anymore for hours, and go on and on and on about nonsense. Although if you let them, they will. And the weird thing is, they go into even more crazy tangents and non sequiturs that don't make any sense. And you're like, what? We were just talking about how to bake a cake, and now we're talking about nuclear war. Like, what the heck happened? They will go all over the place, crying, screaming, complaining, until they just wear themselves out. Now, it's possible that your narcissist may still do that, but only if you let them. As they get older, as they get more tired, as they get more weak, you're actually able to curtail that more. So, in a way, I guess that's a good thing, but sadly for them, they just don't get better. They just get quieter, maybe a little less violent. That's good for you. But sadly for them, inside their hearts, they are still in huge turmoil. They never get peace. They never feel secure. They never feel completely loved. They never feel that they just can never enjoy life, right? Life is always a fight for them, and they're very paranoid, and they will continue to be paranoid and devolve inside of their heads and shelter themselves inside of that head and not be able to respond in healthy ways or change or make healthy changes in their life. They just don't do that. They don't create healthy relationships. They'll just create a different relationship, a new relationship. They move from one to another because as people get tired of their antics, no longer fall for the antics, don't fall in line like they expect them to do, they just dump they get dumped as well from their friends, and then they just make new friendships where they can fool new people for a while. And sadly for them, it becomes fewer and fewer and fewer as they get older. Like they're going to be fewer and fewer friends, and not very long-term friends, so not very deep friendships. So in the end, they're right. They're right. There's not going to be anybody that is there for them completely. There's not going to be anybody that loves them entirely, because of who they are, right? Like who the heck loves a narcissist for who they are? You love them because, this is the hand you were dealt. And you're a compassionate person and you care about people. And so you can see and empathize and maybe sympathize, right, with the narcissist and feel bad for maybe some of the trauma they have experienced. But you don't love them or like them for who they are because they're a disaster and they're hateful, harmful people. Um, but you kind of see them as a child. At best, you see them as a child that is incapable of doing the right thing, doesn't know how to do the right thing. Now, so the bad thing is when you rely on that person, though, to do the right thing. You rely on that person for your future or for things to happen in your life. And that's why we come to this point, you guys, in this happy crappy hour today. If you're sitting back and you're hoping the narcissist will change, and once the narcissist changes, then you can get your life back on track, or then you can build that family that you wanted, or then you can get the job you've wanted, then you can move to where you really want to live. Don't don't bank on that. Don't bank on the narcissist changing. And in fact, if you hold on to the narcissist, you are leaving yourself vulnerable to a disaster in the future. Um, you have to live your life as if the narcissist doesn't impact it. Now, if they come in and out, whatever, that's fine. You give them boundaries that you allow, right? This is how much I'm willing to give. And I've talked about this before too. When you loan money to a narcissist, don't expect it back. They're not good for their word. They're not good for anything. So, same thing here in your life. You build your life as if the narcissist has no effect on it. Now, they come in and out of your life because they could be a brother, they could be a parent, they could be, I don't know, a friend that you don't mind coming in and out of your life for some reason. Um, that's fine. But build your life in a way that they cannot affect it, good or bad. And you will be so much happier. You will not have to rely on them. Sadly, a lot of times we have to rely on a narcissist that stands in our way, right? Maybe they are the ones approving the permit for us to move on in a legal manner. Maybe they're the judge. Maybe they're the neighbor that's complaining about how you're living your life in your own house, right? And they're getting the HOA involved, and you're like, holy cow. Yeah, so there are times when the narcissist has an effect on you and you can't stop that, but you still have options. They may not be options you want to choose, but you're going to have to weigh the benefits and why can't I think of the other thing? The negatives, the positives and the negatives. You're going to have to decide, is it worth moving, for instance, if it's a neighbor? Is it, like, man, I have to move entirely. I like this neighbor. I want to stay here, but I'm dealing with this neighbor, this jerk who lives next door. Well, then you've got to figure out a way to play the game with the jerk next door, right? Um, and we talked about that a little bit earlier too. Bring to their attention how bad it makes them look. If they say they care about this or that, hold them to it. Oh, I care about how the house looks with your trash can out front. Okay, well then they can't keep their trash can out front either, nor can they keep their broken up, nasty looking vehicle, right? If they really care. So anyway, I don't want to get into these huge feuds and all that with your neighbor. And that's the decision you're going to have to make. That's the good, the pros and cons, right? You're going to have to decide on. If you have a narcissist in your life that you have to deal with, you cannot get away from easily, that is, know that you can get away. You have to make some sacrifices to get away from them. That's for sure. But a lot of times, probably all the time, the sacrifices are worth it because then you're going to have a much calmer, peaceful life when you don't deal with that. But it also helps you to learn how to sweet talk. And again, I don't want to talk about, how to manipulate a narcissist, but they do respond to sweet talk. They do respond to you being overly gushing and kind and whatever towards them. And then you can be a total jerk in all the other ways. But if you're nice to them in front of their face, they'll slop that up. Like a lot of people would, right? And that's how they manipulate other people, because they think that if they're nice to you in front of your face, they can treat you whatever way they want. And sadly, a lot of people fall for that. A lot of people fall in love with that. And they think that this person is simply what their words are, but not their actions. So here it is. You can use words as well. You can use words to affect the narcissist, to get them to calm down, whether you mean it or not, whether it's something you're going to do or not. Do the same thing to them. Like it somehow appeases them. It calms them down. So either learn how to do that very well with the narcissist so you can live at peace with them. Maybe even avoid them a lot of the times. But head to head battles is not what you want. I've had friends who've done that with their neighbors, gone head to head with their neighbors. And let me tell you, it lasted for years, and it was miserable for my friend for years, to the point where her neighbor would try to run her off the road when they would see each other. It was that bad. I mean, it was devastating to my friend. So to feel that she was constantly under attack like that, I would not suggest that. So that's why using sugar and spice and sweet honey words, right, is actually your friend when dealing with a narcissist, because they'll, you know, that doesn't mean like, oh, now I'm going to give you my checkbook and now I'm going to give you my credit cards and my debit card. No, no, right? You protect yourself, but you just present yourself in a way that's non-threatening to the narcissist, and they will back down. So, you guys, let me see what you all are chatting about. Oh, wow, Victory 7, good to see you here. I think I've been missing a lot, but let me read what you have to say. My ex-husband destroyed my mind and faith with spiritual abuse. 3 years later, and I'm still trying to figure out how not to be afraid of going back to the Christian community. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this has happened in many communities, and not just Christian, by the way, but I see what you mean. What you learn to do, though, is to better vet the next person coming into your life. Like this little cup says, friends like books should be few and well chosen. Your narcissist does not represent the whole church, nor does he represent the whole Christian community. Now, what throws us is a lot of the Christian community, because they're so sympathetic, become flying monkeys for the narcissist, right? Because they can't believe that someone could be manipulating them. They can't believe that someone in the community could be purposefully trying to hurt someone, right? Trying to play some game or manipulate. They can't believe that, right? So then it ends up hurting the victims. It ends up hurting the narcissist victims, because they get the community to rally behind them, thinking that they're doing the right thing. And that, again, is where I say, when you know you're not guilty, when you know you're upstanding, when you did the right things, when you were consistent, when you held on to your morals and your standards, it doesn't matter who comes against you. It doesn't matter if they don't believe you. It doesn't matter, because you can hold your head up high and know that you have done the right thing. And narcissists are going to attack. They're going to rally people. They're going to come after whoever they perceive to be their enemy, whoever they want to use, right? Be so careful then next time you choose a partner, next time you see the red flags. And I'm not, putting this on you like it was your fault at all. I'm saying that you can learn, right? You can learn, look back and learn from what you just went through. So I'm really sorry that you went through that. And man, I know that a lot of people here have gone through that as well. And it's very scary to even get back into community, much less a Christian community, right? So a lot of people will pull back and not even make friends anymore, not even go out anymore, not even, and they just stay home and shelter up because we don't know what's up and down anymore. We don't know how to trust our own instincts anymore. So this is a good time to start building that. Start building up your ability to choose well. Read some really good books. I really liked all the books that I've read in the last couple of years, and many of them I recommend on my website. So if you go there, just read some of those books. They're either uplifting, inspiring, but also many of them are very eye opening. They will open your eyes to what manipulative, narcissistic, psychopathic people without conscience will do and some of their tactics. So I would read up. I would learn, like, wow, okay, beware of that. But they're also very educational in that they teach you how to set up proper boundaries. And by boundaries, we don't just mean rules. We don't just say, oh, well, I set up this rule that they can't cheat on me. All right, okay, wow, that's a good rule. But then what happens when they do cheat on you? Is there a consequence? Or do you just yell for a bit and then you take them back? Because that's not really a consequence to the narcissist. So rules or boundaries without consequences is just nagging. And narcissists don't care about nagging, right? So long as they get what they want, they'll put up with nagging. Or maybe not nagging, but they don't care that you throw a fit so long as they can manipulate you back into trusting them again, right? So you want to have consequences that stick. That's the point of boundaries. Having a fence is useless if you let everybody through the fence. Like, what's the point of the fence then, right? You have this fence and you're like, okay, I want to keep out all the rabbits that are eating my garden and I want to keep out all the deer, but then you leave the gate open. And all the rabbits and all the deer come in and out whenever they want. They just can't come in through where the fence is, but they come in through where the gate is. It's a slight hassle, I guess, right, for the rabbits and deer, just like for the narcissist. A slight hassle to have to deal with your crying and yelling for a bit or threats about leaving, and then they just get back in. So have boundaries with certain consequences. It doesn't always have to be, in every relationship, the consequences, we're done and there's no more. But there has to be some kind of consequence that requires them to make a change. So you guys, I hope that that's something that will help you and that you can implement in your life so that you can have some security in your own judgment. Because once you have these boundaries in place, you'll start to trust your instincts a little bit better too. All right, you guys, let me see. Yeah, Clifford, good to see you, says, absolutely, the narcissist victims never matter or are respected. Yeah. Deb, good to see you too. Says my narc husband will never say he's sorry. One time and he screamed it. Yeah, that's not an apology, obviously, right? Yeah. Dangerous conversations. Good to see you. Says they honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Yep. Those are fake, right? Those are the fake Christians and fake all the religions that are out there. They honor certain things, but then they don't actually mean it. Victory 7 says, I am that hermit now. You called it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay to pull back for a while. It's okay to hunker down for a bit and reestablish a foundation, right? Rebuild your foundation. And you need to do that. Pamper yourself, though, during this time. Don't grow fearful. Don't allow fear to continue to grow. Instead, reward yourself with small good things, or maybe even big good things like a trip somewhere. But I know travel is rather restricted internationally, but I mean, if you can, go to someplace nice and just pamper yourself. Get yourself out of the environment that caused or where all the hurt happened. And then you're going to see, like, wow, there's life out there. There's something beyond that hurt that I experienced. So this is a really good time Maybe not to open up your doors and gates to everybody to flood in, but it's a really good time to be very choosy about who you let in, and then also very choosy about what you do with your time. Be very choosy and do things that are beneficial to you, that are going to feed your soul, that are going to inspire and help you. And that's why I, mentioned the book. So if you go to my website, escapefromcrazytown.com, and go to the shop menu, and the reason it's in the shop menu is because I listed in Amazon links, and you can buy those books right from there through my affiliated links, which will benefit me a tiny bit. I think I get a few pennies or whatever, but you pay the same price, so that's good. That you would either way. But these books, what they've done for me, and this is why I share these titles with you, is these books have helped me to regain my self confidence, regain my confidence in my own judgment. And so, and help me to build a foundation and a better way to move forward with relationships. And not just relationships, but with my life, like make decisions for my life that affect me, whether or not it affects other people in my life. So, this is what I would hope for you as well. Wow. Deb says, my narc has turned everyone against me and calls the police and rescue squad on me every week just to be vindictive. He is the one on 5 different psych medications. Wow. Jeez, Deb. That is crazy. Yeah, I would think, though, that the rescue squad and let me see who, the police start to see. They know. They know that if they've done this call 4 or 5 times, 6, 7 times. They know by probably the second or third time what they're dealing with. They know that you're a victim of this. And ask them, what can I do? What can I do to stop this? And maybe they'll let you know. Like, well, I would suggest you talk to this department in the police, department. Yeah, ask them the next time they show up and there's nothing there and you haven't done anything wrong. Ask them, what can I do to get this to stop? A lot of times, sadly, they might say, well, you have to contact a lawyer. But ask them if there's somebody that you can contact that's a service that the community provides, right? That the state provides. And I think that there are. I think that even within the police department, there are, sadly, I keep saying sadly, but unfortunately, with defunding the police, those resources may or may not be there. But I would suggest you look. Just look and ask. Yeah. Well, you guys, our hour is up and we are at the end of our hour. But thank you so much for hopping on. Let me go back and see if I missed anything. Yeah, he says, AKA politics in general, they're all crooks. That's what I think. Be careful of politicians. I do think there's some good people out there who mean well. I have some friends right now. I mean, they're not real close friends, but maybe acquaintances then, I guess. But people I've known for over a decade that are getting into the arena. They're going to enter the political arena because they're tired of the crooks that have been there. So I know that there have been in years past people who've done the same thing. They've been tired. They've gotten tired of the crooks that are in there. So they go in and they try to make a difference, but they are in the minority, I believe. But it doesn't matter that they're in a minority because they can still make a big splash. They can still reveal a lot of what's going on. And I think if you pay attention, we're going to be able to see that as well. Start questioning everything. Start looking into information. If your part of your brain is telling you, well, that kind of contradicts, like that doesn't make sense. Like on the one hand, this is happening, but then on the other hand, this other thing is happening. Instead of listening to the media tell you how to think, and let me tell you, if you've heard me at all through all these months, you know that I do not trust the media. They lie and lie and lie, and they're the biggest arm of propaganda ever of history. And I'm not just talking about American media, you guys. This is how it has always been used in history. That newspapers, magazines, radios, outlets, and nowadays we have social media. In the past, they didn't have social media, so now the crooks have a new way of propagandizing and the censorship. I heard something recently. They said that no book burner in history has ever been the good guys. Think about that. So those censoring in history have never been the good guys. So question that now. Why is there so much censorship? And why are we not allowed to hear each other's arguments or positions or perspectives? I think we need to have conversations. And by the way, let me tell you, I had a great conversation with people who were completely, you could say politically, or on the opposite side I was, or am. I don't know. I don't really, I'm not in a party, so I'm an independent. But from my perspective, what I believe what was happening and what they believed what was happening, complete opposites, right? The way they're fighting it, the way I'm fighting it, complete opposites. But I had a conversation with these people. Came across them because they were protesting. And so I was out there and they were preaching some really, stuff that I was able to pick apart right away. I was like, no, that's not true. That's fake. They're listening to the media. The media told them this. And I asked them to go back and actually watch the real speech, the real conversation, the real interview, the entirety of it, not just a snippet of it, which is all they get from the media. And the media uses that to form a narrative. So be careful of that. I had a great conversation with them. They were able, I wasn't mad. They were a bit angry, but it didn't bother me because I can understand, because there are times I get angry too of what's going on. But what good would it do if I'm yelling and they're yelling and we're just yelling past each other? So I listened and then I responded calmly and they started responding calmly and we had a really good conversation. And here's the bottom line, you guys. We have more in common than we do differences. We all want good things. This is what we came to. I'm not going to get into political points, but it turns out we actually both care about people. Now, the solution to get to caring about people was different. So we have to talk that out. We have to discuss that. But to shut one side down completely and say you are not allowed to bring up your ideas and your recommendations and your solutions, and we're only going to listen to one side and only their solutions. That's wrong. That's wrong. You need to compromise, not just compromise, but you need to actually converse with each other. So you guys, that's what I would suggest. Talk to people. Don't get mad at them. They actually want the same things. They just don't know that what they're listening to is fake, or that what they're listening to is a narrative that with an agenda behind it. But if they widen their lens and they look further, and you ask them the right questions. And this is the cool thing about Jesus, by the way, you guys. I am a Christian. The cool thing about Jesus is that, well, there's a lot of cool things, but one of the cool things is he would ask questions to get people to think. He didn't go in preaching and condemning and saying, you this and you that. He did to his own, those who professed to be religious. He talked to them. But to those who were not religious, he didn't go out to them and say, you're a horrible person and you did this wrong and you're not following these rules. He just asked them questions. And they saw when he asked those questions and they had to answer, if they were to give an honest answer, then they saw the ways that they were wrong. That's how you have to talk to people. And when you're getting censored and you're not even able to ask the question, you're not able to question the narrative, you're not allowed to even go against or suggest something different, that's a problem. So think about that. In history, no good guy was the book burner. No book burner was ever the good guy. No censoring side was ever the good side. So, there you go, guys. Go. Just don't take things too personally. I know that if you're feeling like you're attacked and all that, don't take it too personally. It's just people who are very frustrated right now. whatever side you're on. There are frustrated people, by the way, on both sides. So that's why I want this channel to be humanitarian. Uh, I want us to come up with solutions and not just condemnation and not just complaining and crying about stuff, but actually working towards healing, working towards communicating, working towards what we can do. We can't make other people do something unless we censor them, right? Which is what's happening, which I think is total BS. Um, but even in that, they're not successful because people will find a way, because freedom will find a way. Oppression just doesn't win. It doesn't last. Oppression just doesn't last because people's innate nature is to be free, to be able to speak freely, to be able to think freely, to be able to love freely, to be able to live. And we're going to strive for that. So anyway, you guys, sorry, I just kind of went off on this little bit of a tangent there because of someone's comment. But I hope that this show today has helped you to understand that if you're waiting around for the narcissist to change, you are going to be putting your life on hold for a long, long, long time and possibly forever. Don't do that. Move on with your life. Do things with your life. Enjoy your life. Build things with your life. Do good with your life, regardless of what the narcissist is doing, right? Regardless of whether they're going to come back into your life, regardless of whether they're going to change, regardless of whether they're going to come alongside you. You do the right thing. And you know what's going to happen when you do that? You get stronger. And not only stronger, but you're going to learn to see, you're going to be able to discern good people from bad people. The more in control of your life you are, because you're going to see the bad people come in and try to destroy you. You're going to see the jealous people come in and try to take from you. You're going to see the opposition that's coming at you is not there because, you're going to see the real intent of the opposition, right? It's not what their words are, it's what they're actually doing. If they're tearing down your life, they're tearing down your neighborhood, they're trying to tear down your environment, and then they're saying this is for your good. They're oppressing you. They're making it so that you can't provide for yourself or do things for yourself. And then they're telling you that's good for you because it's good for everybody. It's like, how is this good for everybody? Anyway, you guys, just question a lot of things. Work with other people. There's always good out there though, because there are a lot of good people I'm coming across who are waking up to the censorship, waking up to the oppression, waking up to the fact that there are those out there trying to control us because they have an agenda, and the agenda is not for us. Oh my gosh, you guys, listen to George Carlin. This guy, he's passed away. He's a comedian from a long time ago, but I remember seeing his skits a while ago, and he was saying things like, there is a club, and these people belong to this, and we are not in that club, okay? So they may have us fighting each other, but neither side is in that club, by the way. And we need to take control back. We need to take control of our lives back, away from these crazy psychopaths that have no conscience and don't care about their victims. Honestly, they don't care. They say they care and they hide behind that, but then watch them. Watch how they actually care. Do they follow through? No. Are their words contradictory? Yes. So be careful of that. Well, you guys, I hope that you have a great week. If you can, give me a thumbs up on the video, make comments. Hopefully it'll get shared. I know that I'm not a big pusher of this channel, but would be nice to keep it going if I can. I'm not, making it into a huge business or anything, but I would like to keep it going and hoping that I'll be able to reach more viewers. And if you found this helpful, maybe share it with other people, share what you've learned with other people. And let me see, what else should I ask you to do? I also have podcasts. My husband put these up as podcasts, so you're able to find me on Stitcher, and I can't remember all the other ones too. And visit my shop. Look up some of the books. It'll help you, and recommend me to others, and subscribe. And I will talk to you next week, you guys. Take care. Have a blessed week. Have a great time. And I don't mean that in a, hey, I put action behind my words, you guys. So take care of yourself. Have a wonderful week. and be good to others. And I will see you next week.